Okay, tell me when.
So, that now. So we were here. So the state capital is Cumana City, which was founded by Gonzalo de Ocampo in 1531. Franciscan missionary was there before, but then there was a big earthquake, and after that, they give King Felix II from Spain. See, we used to belong to Spain. So, and then after the earthquake, and then they built it again, and that's the 1591. Yeah. And then Cumanat means there is a union between the sea and the river. However, this is not a river. This is a one of the national park, but it belongs to the state. So this is the city of Cumaná. You can tell there is not a lot of big tall buildings. It's by the sea. We have the Manzanares River. You can see right there. It's the bigger one in Sucre state. It's not clean like should be, but it's the bigger one. So the name of the state is a tribute to the heroes' independence, Grand Marshal Antonio Jose de Sucre, who was born in the city of Cumaná. And Sucre have 15 municipalities, so that would be like counties. 15. Sucre is have two peninsulas. You can see right there. We have two gulfs, the Gulf of the Mariguita and the Gulf of the Paria. And they have three national parks. So it's the Gulf of the Cariaco, Gulf of the Cariaco, Gulf of the Paria, and then three national parks. There is a four, but the entry to the park is not in our state. So I don't want to get credit for it. You know, the people from the other states say, wait a minute, that's our park. So it's 3.5 national parks. Yeah. So it has a very, I'm going to let you read.
Okay, this Venezuelan state has great historical importance because it was the first Venezuelan land that was touched by the European navigator Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
The latter, impressed with the greenness of the flora, the coast, and the crystalline water of its beaches, called the place Tierra de Gracia.
I think Dr. Cortez mentioned that a few times, the Tierra de Gracia. Okay, so here the fishing is one of the more important things in Sucre, of course, by the sea. And so this is the type of boat they use to go fishing. There's a beautiful song they talk about, you know, in Sucre, the sun come out early. By 6 in the morning, the people are coming back from the sea. The day they start early. And this that you see here, this is fish, but this is dry fish. So I've been a state with so many sea around, I mean Caribbean Sea right there. There is a lot of fishing in that area. So this is dry fish. The same way people prepare dry meat, you know, in here, this is in the style is dry fish. So they do this in the sun. So the fish, they open it, they put a lot of salt, they leave it in places, and this dry. So then they cook with the dry fish. It's a way to, I guess they start to preserve it, and then eventually it's another style of eating. Next. So over here say the main cities are Carúpano, Guiria, Cariaco, and Aracha. So I'm going to tell you, Sucre of Cumaná would be the main city. And then the second one is Carúpano, so it's right close to over here. It doesn't, right there. Carúpano. It's right there by the coast, Carúpano. I said, it's the second bigger after Cumaná. And then the next one is Guiria. Guiria is very close to Trinidad and Tobago. Guiria have, each one of them has a port. And Guiria have an international port because they go in Trinidad, in and out of Trinidad. And also they used to have a ferry that you can take a ferry and go to Trinidad. Not anymore, thanks to the government we have in Venezuela, if I can call that a government. So that's one of the many things that is right now is gone. Huh? Nueva Esparta is a different state. It's another island. And then the next one, Cariaco, who is over here. Cariaco is close to the Gulf. The Cariaco has the same name, but Cariaco is a very small town. It's not a big town. It's not a big city. It's a very little town, but they have a port to the Gulf of Cariaco. So that's why it's been counted as one of the main towns. Because the other little town, some don't have access to the sea, and some like my town doesn't have a port. It's just for fishermen go back and pier is what you say. It doesn't have a pier anymore. Things happen. Next. So in many places in Carúpano, in all that area, even when we are with the mountain range around the coast, there are a lot of the mountains are tall enough that protects from the sea. So there are some valleys in between mountains, and in those valleys, that's the best production for cocoa. This is chocolate, if you don't know what it is. This is where chocolate comes from. This is the bean, it's cacao, and this is how it looks in the plant. The funny thing about this is inside the thing that we call say maraca. Inside the maraca, there's a bunch of seed, and they white and slimy, and then they let them go to different process until it dry. And they dry in the sun. But then the funny thing about that tree, the funny thing is that the fruit grow more in the trunk of the tree than in the branches. So this is very close to the ground, if you can see right here. So it grows in the thick branches and in the trunk. Next. So this is the flower that is tiny. So they have an example from the flower to the chocolate or cocoa. A cup of cocoa. Déjalo ahí un momentito para que lo lean. Gracias.
Okay, so during the Industrial Revolution, Venezuela stood out for being one of the main countries in charge of agro-industrial exports. From the middle of the 17th century and the first half of the 18th century, the country depended on mono exportation, cocoa being the only item that maintained the national economy. I need enough cocoa to maintain their economy.
Okay,
I love that stuff.
Oh, I know.
Next.
And okay, I have to tell you, the cup of chocolate that we eat over there, the cocoa, we don't even say chocolate, we say cacao, because it's different to make a cup of chocolate. The chocolate that you buy from the store, it doesn't taste not even close what cacao tastes. And I can say that I grew up in there. This is my picture that I took from my family farm. So some members of my family have plantation. My grandfather used to have it, and some inherited, and we keep them. So this is how it look dry. This is how it look in the plant. This is the ground, so look how close it is. This is some of my members of my family make bonbon, make chocolate to eat. And this is all the companies in the area. They also have the trees, and they produce and they make their own chocolate to sell. They export to Europe and all that kind of stuff. And this is the Franceschi company. They are actually from Carúpano, but they have plantation in different places. So this one says Rio Carrillo. That's the same place. And this is how you buy it in many little stores in town. Many people, even without a store, some people have their own trees and they make this. This is cacao, bolas bolas de cacao, so cacao bolas, and they're hard. And so you have to use a grinder before you have to use some masa before you can put it in milk, or usually you add milk and make. But the flavor is completely different than just a cup of chocolate from the store.
How big are those pods?
The fruit,
Yeah. The maraca.
about this big. Yeah, they're this large. Some are smaller, but usually they're about this big. I mean, the way they cut it, they hold it in their hand and they're like, oh. And then sometimes some people cut it halfway like this, and some people cut it the other way. So it just depends the style of the people, but it's the same.
Pull out the slimy
And then they get that stuff and they put it in. Before it got to dry, they lo curten. ¿Cómo se llama? Curtir to.
Look that up, 'cause I don't know that
Ya
one.
va, eso tiene un nombre. They get that in a container and that drip a lot of water and they let it in a. I remember in my grandfather's house, they put it.
Enjoy? Colander. Oh, okay.
So they mix that and it gets kind of stinky too. Smell pretty strong, and they close that room, and then few days later they go, maybe 1 week later, I don't know exactly how much, and then they get that stuff. All the stuff that cover the bean is kind of gone, so they get the beans and on a slide of concrete, and they to dry with the sun. And the way I remember, and many people have one. There is, my grandfather has like a little house, and I saw a picture no long time ago. It's like a concrete floor with a roof. That's it, no wall. So like this, and it have doors, and it have wheels like a train. So you can push the roof of that little house, that little, and so the cocoa or cacao is there, the grain, and so you don't have to put that. It's there, so you just move that, and then when the night comes, before the night comes, you close your things again. And I played in that thing when I was a little girl, like crazy. One more, I can hang in there like like a monkey. Next. Okay, so this is Rio Carrillo. This is my hometown. That's where I got married. And that church right there. So this is the view from the mountain to the sea, and then sunset. It's bigger than this, but it's very small. It's small, and it's a very old town. Very old houses with long windows. It's very Español. Yeah, with the Spanish culture. Okay, so this is Lake Guanoco, or Lago de Asfalto de Guanoco. And this is, Sucre have a lot of things. And this is nature. Nature made this. So today I find out with some of my family that work with have experience with the oil industry, with the petroleum. So I asked him about how long does it take for nature to do asphalt. How do you say that? Tar. So this is natural. This is made by the earth. So he said, well, think about it. They have the sediment that they are in the petroleum. It has to, the light sediment evaporate, and eventually it becomes thicker. It becomes the asphalt. We do the la empresa, in the oil industry. Yeah, they do that, but they say that imagine how many years it took the earth to do it. So pretty much from the time of dinosaurs, probably. So I thought, and they try to work. This is a pipe, so they try. Some companies try to work in that area, but that is how it looks. This is somebody touching this stuff, and it's there. And this is the second large in the world. And it's right there in Sucre State. We also have gas. No, yeah. We also have gas, natural gas, and the fisher plant and many others. And I mean, the land it go from very dry to very common rainforest, from very different. That one, that picture over there, that was what men do with the humans. That was a spill from a big shipping boat, from those cargo petroleum thing. And that was in the beach where they have turtles in the national park, in one of the national parks. So, because it's still good people, they build this to protect the eggs from the turtle. So they take care of that. They protect the turtle and they protect the eggs. So they build that, put wood board around, and then they got sand, and so it will not hurt them.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, we have a tar pit here in Oklahoma.
You do?
And also the La Brea in California. I was wondering.
Yes, I heard about that, the California
one. Is La
one.
Brea the largest?
The one, I don't know which one is the largest, probably the one in California. We have the second supposedly.
But La Brea is the most famous.
Yes, I think that's the largest one. And then I read,
pretty neat here in Oklahoma.
yeah, I read that the Venezuelan in Sucre is the second one, and then Trinidad is the one after this one.
So we're not even in the running. Okay.
We're in Oklahoma, Kathy.
No, I don't know, no.
Wishful
Oklahoma.
thinking.
Kathy, we're in Oklahoma.
Her backyard.
It's located for sale.
And Brussels? Brussels?
No,
Oh,
Lot.
Latin, okay.
Really, I think it is, well, I know it is on the actual, so.
Okay.
So I had a scout that did an eagle project there, so
Oh, okay.
I get excited about tar pits.
No, I get excited about this.
So this is.
This is good.
Okay, so Carupa, no? There is one of those second town bigger in Sucre. They produce rum. They not only have chocolate and use cocoa to make to sell, but then they have rum. That is a very well recognized international. So
Rum and chocolate.
yeah, you can go wrong with that. And
Ain't nothing
they
wrong with that
got
one.
this much from this is from 2021, and they have one for 2020, and they have so they get those recognition the Global Luxury Masters 2021 with that
So
one.
it's age 6 years, 12 years, 18 years, and 21 years.
And one of those
If you do
bottles
anything,
can
those are the-
cost like $60. Just letting you know, I checked it into the.
That's okay. I'll buy
So
one.
they have different ones, but they have about one for $30, and they have different prices. So when the next time you go to a liquor store and you want to try, just make sure that you take just a little bit to enjoy the flavor, not to get
Don't
drunk.
try it. Sit at
Not to
home.
get drunk.
Sit at home. With your soap.
My father didn't
Novela.
drink, but he enjoyed. You know the cup that we use for medicine, the cup with the medicine. There's about 3 teaspoons. Okay, he probably put 1.5 teaspoons, and then he sipped it and said, "Okay, good night." So I remember that. Like sometimes when I got a gift and I said, "Hey, I can do this like my dad. I can just take 1 teaspoon because I don't drink that much." So because that way you have to just enjoy the flavor. Next one. This is Carupan, also famous for the carnival, Mardi Gras, and very colorful. But everything changed in Venezuela for what happened the last 20 years. But still, people remember and they try to enjoy. Next. This is William, who is the third city and port. So is the only port that is to the Atlantic Ocean. The other ones are to the Caribbean Sea. Es igual pero distinto. It's not the same. So the other one is the Caribbean Sea. This is the Atlantic Ocean, and they can go from here to Trinidad. Like I say, Some people go do their groceries in Trinidad, especially when Venezuela had like a stuff that they were needed, didn't have anything to eat, and everything was empty, all the shelf was empty. People from Bolivia go to Trinidad and buy groceries. Yeah, not every day, but they do. So this picture of namesake Cariaco, I didn't find really a picture of Cariaco. It's a small town, so I got together with pictures from the area. It's around the sea, so that is really is not Cariaco, but it's very close. That is San Antonio del Golfo. It's also from the Gulf, very close to Cariaco. The name is San Antonio. San Antonio. So that's the name, and you pass by, and a lot of beautiful sunset over there. And this is Medina Beach in Rio Carrillo, in about 40 minutes. You have to leave the main road and then get another, and then it's dirt before you get to it. And this is actually in the end of this Sucre state. So, but I want to show you this, no matter where you are, it's coconut. If you by the beach, you probably have coconut trees, you have beautiful sunset, you have rocks, and just so much green. This is Medina Beach, and it's part of the, but in Araya, we have also beautiful beaches also, but in here we have, Araya is more dry. In here we have more the palm tree, the coconut. It's just coconut, and some days this beach is very soft, like it is in that picture. I took that picture, but in some days it's a little more strong, but not for surfing. It's still not strong enough for surfing. Next. This is Araya, so it's more dry. So we have the mines of salt. We have salt on there, and that's the job they do. And we have those castillos. This is fort that they build because people used to go and steal and all that kind of stuff. So
they're called pirates.
They're called pirates. Yeah. So they built a fort in Cumaná, and they built them in Araya, and also in Margarita Island, but there is a different state. To protect them. And can you see the face? The stone pirate eyes. That's what they call it. And so it's natural. They look like a face.
Stone
So
pirate.
people put their name.
Okay.
Here's some Castillo Santa Maria. Building just to protect Cumaná, and the San Antonio, they still some part there, just to protect Cumaná from the pirates.
Yeah, a lot of the Spanish towns, you go to the old English towns,
Yeah.
they would have the castle, fort, then you have all these little areas
Yeah,
for the guards to be,
for the guard to
and you
be.
have the wall built around
Yeah.
the town
Yes.
to protect
The
them.
left side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to protect them
They have to.
from tourists, pirates,
Yeah. And that's also part of Cumaná. There is the cathedral, and that is the La Iglesia de Santa Inés. Santa Inés Church, and Santa Inés is the patron of Cumaná.
That's pretty.
And so, and that's the cathedral of Cumaná. And there is for the Araya castle. There's not too much left over, but it's still hanging there. And this is
Mariscal
Mariscal
Sucre.
Sucre, yeah. And this is the University of Sucre, but they are Universidad de Oriente. There are 5 campuses in 5 different states in the area east of Venezuela. One in the Margarita Island, one in Cumaná, one in Maturin, so a different state in Bolivar. But this is, I told Ella, I said, I need to show this. This is being totally destroyed.
Okay.
So this wasn't a good moment. This is the university right now. The books schools are burning. Everything is being destroyed. There's a teacher. Um, that's why it used to be, and a lot of students, a lot of engineers came from that university, very recognized, very important. Many of my family were there, many of us. So, but that is being destroyed. All the universities being destroyed as much as possible. Because you have to understand, we don't have a democratic government. They do whatever they want. They are actually the worst people we can have as a being government. So the less educated people they have, the more easy it is to convince them that they are right. So they hit because usually the university is the students and the professors, they are against this thing. They cannot do anything, but they don't support the government. And so the government is kind of like, I say, okay, let's destroy it. You don't have nothing, no job, no nothing, no any place to go where to get education. And one of my cousins is a professor in a different university in Kines, and she's struggling to teach class. I actually been raising money to buy her a laptop with friends and send it over there because she don't find the way to teach those, because still people want to get an education. Still young men and women want to go to the university and do something. And when they get there, I say, here I am, the teacher, and I say, look at this. So between the students, the teachers, and the parents, they clean the lab. My cousin teaches in the lab chemistry in the very beginning. So she said, I have to give her hope. It's not possible that we all gonna just die before our time comes. So I'm raising money to buy the computer. We're there. So now we need to send it. So this is, we have 3 national parks. So this is the Mochima National Park. It is in after the map in here. So there is Cumaná. So it's a little more far west. So it's more to the other state. A lot of people even think it is part of the state, but it's part of Sucre. So it is a lot of different mountains. It's a little more dry because it's close to the seas, and it's kind of like little islands, and it's very, very nice place to go and enjoy the boat. This is the Tuerépano National Park, and is right here in the map. Is part of the delta from the Orinoco. So the water is that color. So when you leave Trinidad in a plane, you can see the whole thing. And I have some pictures, but I was not able to find it. I don't know whether they are somewhere in the computer that I took from the plane. And you can see all the canals and all that stuff. So in those animals, they look sad and kind of cute. I want to kind of hug them. You know, think about a stuffed animal. You can, they are part of that area. So, manatee, you can see one in Sonsua, was in a zoo when they have one. So they have the manglar and fresh water too. And so there is Paria. Paria is the north, just with all the mountain range from the sea to the sea. All this mountain protects the small valleys. So that's where those valleys, they produce cocoa, the chocolate. So in this area, they have that water that falls straight into the sea. It's not very big, but it's something that you don't see every day. Mm-hmm. And this is how it looks around if you're going in a boat for the north side of the Caribbean Sea. And those are turtles that they protect. And that's the end of that's the end just before you go and find some little rocks and stuff before you go to Trinidad. So that's the end of the peninsula at that side. And the other peninsula is Araya. And around the town, every town have a specific thing. Some sell stuff that they make and that they buy from other people, from other store. And then next. And this is what we eat today. Recognize that?
Yes.
And that's how. This is when you go in a little place where they sell those stuff. This is what we get. My mother told me that, she said, you need to add carrot because you have to make it with what you have where you live. So I said, okay. So I put a little bit in there. And we do it in Venezuela too. So this is what we eat today in this sancocho. Those are chorizos, and those are homemade. And I miss them so much. It's pork, and they are homemade, and they taste really good. And one, because they are homemade, and two, because the people that sell it to you are friends. So, and this is very typical in Sucre because we are close to the ocean, so to the sea, so we have fried fish all the time. And there is empanada that you eat today, and this is something very particular. This is goat. Chivo?
Chivo, goat.
Goat. Okay. That is not very common in every family, but in that side of Sucre, going to the peninsula, there is a part that they have a lot of coconut trees. They cook a lot with coconut. Everything, they cook everything with coconut. And it's very, once in a while, in a special occasion, people prepare that. And that have curry.
Curry.
And we don't eat curry in Venezuela too much, but we are very close to Trinidad. So the culture get mixed. Some people in Trinidad make arepas, we go with curry. And the reason Trinidad has so much curry, cook so much with curry, is because a lot of people from India are there. So the culture, the language get mixed. So we have some words in Spanglish, really bad. This is made with mango. This is jalea de mango. That is made with mango and it tastes so good. It's a dessert. This is cassave, and it's a very dry bread, very crunchy, that we put on the soup, but I didn't find any. And that is made with yuca fruit. There are two different kinds of yuca fruit. So there's one to make that and one to eat. There is the one that I put in the soup. And this is the dessert that is in the little cup. It's a rice coconut. It's coconut rice. Arroz con coco. With coconut. So it's good with coconut milk. It's sweet. That is chicha. It's a drink made with rice also. So I miss all that. And it's in a different area, like I said, everybody sell what they have in their area. So what do you think that is? It's a sea, oysters. I believe it's oysters. So, and they, no, I think it's ostras. I think it's ostras. Yeah, and they sell, they pack the stuff with whatever.
Pickled.
Yeah, pickled stuff. Yeah, fishy stuff.
Oysters, everybody say it?
Ostras.
Ostra?
Mm-hmm.
O-S-T-R-A?
O-S-T-R-A-S. Ostras.
I think it's,
Because you usually eat more than just one.
Yeah.
It's ostras.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a fruit very typical in many areas. So these are raspals. In my little town, still some people say snowball.
We call them piraguas.
Because they came from the word is mixed with the English from, I don't know how it got mixed. But we have a lot of European in that area. They was pretty much the founders of the little town. And so it's a mix of French and English and Spanish and then English from Trinidad. So we end with a lot of words that they're completely different than other Spanish-speaking countries. So those are made with fruit. So this is not the powder or anything. This is made with, you see how it's kind of Those drinks are made with real fruit. And those are fruit they grow season, coconut, ovito, that grow on the river. I have a lot of memories from that. And that's guama, is that long thing right there. And that's how it looks inside. It has not too much to eat. You just get that little seed and you chew until the white stuff is gone.
Some of this stuff, folks,
Yeah.
doesn't translate because it's just stuff that's there in the
Yeah.
tropics.
Wow.
Yeah,
When you grow up in the tropics, you have certain foods, and you come to the States and you're like, you never heard of this?
yeah. And jovito has this smell and flavor that is unique. I have a memory of opening the windows of my grandfather's house in the morning, and we said, jovitos are ripe. I ready to eat. I mean, it's just, I don't think I eat one in 30 years. So, next. Yeah, we're really late. So this is ají dulce. It's a pepper that looks like habanero, but it's not spicy. And this is avocado. People that have avocado trees, they put this around the road, so at least they used to, for sale. So you find out how much a container full of avocado costs. And look at the size. Next, we're really behind. And this is sucre. Rum, spices, coconut tree, fresh water, stuff handmade, sweet, all that stuff already, they're sweet, handmade. Somebody homemade, somebody did it. It's asphalt, it's cocoa, it's chocolate, it's beautiful sunset, it's beautiful church. It's a lot to eat.